With a state primary election only 4 days away, could you tell our listeners why you're the right choice for Virginia's next governor? What makes you stand out from the other candidates in this race?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I am Jennifer Carroll Foy, and I'm running for governor. I am traveling the entire Commonwealth, barnstorming every voter that's out there to ensure they know what's on the line this next upcoming election. And so I'm running for governor because Virginians are hungry for change. The wealthy and well-connected have had a lot of representation in Richmond, and now it's our turn. Now it's our time. I come from one of the poorest communities in Virginia where politicians of the past made a lot of false promises and then turned their backs on us. And there's so many communities just like my hometown throughout Virginia. But luckily, we are resourceful, resilient, and strong people, and we've been building our communities back up. And I dedicated my life to service as a public defender, representing brown, black, and poor Virginians, helping them navigate a broken criminal justice system, as a foster mom, a community organizer, and a state legislator who passed the Equal Rights Amendment for women's equality, helped veterans open small businesses, and expanded Medicaid to over 500,000 Virginians. So I am running for governor because the people closest to the pain should be the ones that's in power. And I understand the challenges that Virginia families face because I've lived them. Working multiple jobs, living paycheck to paycheck, and being unable to afford the high costs of healthcare. And that's why I've been in the trenches doing the good work to uplift communities just like ours all across Virginia. And as your governor, I will bring diverse, high-paying jobs to every corner of the Commonwealth. I will be sure to have every 3- and 4-year-old in full-day pre-K and end the digital divide and have every home, school, and business attached to high-speed internet. And of course, I will tackle corporate corruption because we will continue to have the same conversations about gun safety and the high cost of prescription drugs and high cost of health insurance and climate change until we actually elect a governor who will stand shoulder to shoulder with the people and not special interests.
Thank you so much for that answer. Our next question. Virginians currently pay some of the highest energy bills in the nation, and Dominion Energy just asked for a massive profit increase that would increase bills even more. As governor, how would you protect Virginians from sky-high energy bills and unfair pricing from our utility monopolies?
Well, I will have people in leadership positions like at DEQ who understand the importance of tackling environmental racism and having clean environment and making necessary investments into renewable energy here in Virginia. I will be sure to have a budget that's reflective of our values. And I will, for example, declare climate change a climate emergency when I'm elected governor. I will make investments in the Clean Cars program. I will make sure that we give our farmers the money they need for cover crops and to build fences to keep their livestock out of rivers and streams and waterways so we can make a Chesapeake Bay cleanup timeline and address agricultural runoff. I will ensure to invest in adaptation and resiliency plans in Hampton Roads because they're going to see several additional feet of water in the next several years unless we act immediately. So making sure that we build the levees and the flood walls, that we rezone communities and actually incorporate water into our economy is going to be extremely important. And I will be sure that Dominion returns the $500 million that they've taken from ratepayers. They deserve to have their money back, especially now during this health and economic crisis. I will ensure that there is actual strong oversight from the number one monopolized utility here in Virginia. And I will make sure that we have the provisions that need to be in place so that way we have a clean government and a clean environment and a clean Virginia.
Thank you. Dominion Energy is the top political contributor in Virginia's history. In exchange for donating staggering sums of money, Dominion has influenced the laws that govern its profits and allowed it to regulate itself. How will you curb Dominion's outsized influence in state politics and regulatory decisions?
I was very proud to say that I would not accept money from Dominion or Appalachian Power because they are the regulated and I am the regulator. And we have to be very clear on which side we stand for and who we're fighting for. Virginians are looking for a governor who will stand shoulder to shoulder with them and not special interests like Dominion. I am one of the only people in this gubernatorial race who has never taken a dime or dollar from Dominion. I never have, and I never will. I will never put corporate profits above people because I have to look into the eyes of my 2 3-year-olds and explain to them how we didn't do enough to ensure they had clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. that we endangered their environment, that we allow corporations to have their way and consistently pollute people here in Virginia. And so I have taken on fossil fuel companies and I've won. Keeping my promise to clean up toxic coal ash where people in Prince William County was drinking lead, arsenic, and mercury that was seeping into their well drinking water, with Dominion being their neighbor right up the street, and that coal ash pond seeping these carcinogenics into our soil and putting poison on people's playgrounds. So I will be sure to continue to the foundation that I've laid to have clean governance here in Virginia. Please go to my website at jennifercarrollfoy.com and read my ambitious and bold and transformational campaign finance and ethics reform, where I will ban corporate contributions. I will put a limit on individual contributions in line with the federal government, and I will end the revolving door of legislators immediately becoming lobbyists here in our Commonwealth. It's about time that we help to reinsure Virginians' trust in the government and let them know that we will always stand with them.
With the election coming up next Tuesday, what do you have to say to voters who are on the fence about voting in this year's primary?
What I have to say is that everything is on the line this upcoming election. It's one of the most important elections we've had in Virginia's history. We have an opportunity to allow a working mom to represent working families, someone who understands the challenges that we face, not more of the wealthy, out-of-touch politicians of the past who continue to make promises but then have excuses and fail to execute. Now is our time. It's about time that we have a public defender who's protected our communities and stood up and fought for people who couldn't fight for themselves. It's about time we have a woman governor who has burned the midnight oil, drafting bills and budgets to uplift working families, who believes in repealing right to work and helping unions. And that's why I'm excited, and that's what's on the line this election. So if you want a Virginia where we leave no one behind, where everyone has an opportunity to thrive, then you need to vote for Jennifer Carroll Foy on June 8th for governor.
Finally, how can voters excited about your campaign help get out the vote in these final days before the election?
We are just a few short days from one of the most pivotal elections that we've ever had here in Virginia's history. And so we can use your time, talent, and your resources here on Team JCF. If you go to my website at jennifercarrollfoy.com, please feel free to read up on my policies and my plans, almost 20 policy positions on how I'm going to increase affordable housing and wages and uplift women and workers and fight for jobs and justice here in our Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'm excited to say that we have the momentum, we have the messaging, the mobilization in order to build the most diverse coalition of supporters that Virginia has ever seen. I am running a grassroots people power campaign, so I am nothing without the people, and that's where you come in. So I'd love to have your support and your vote. Please feel free to volunteer as a poll worker. Please feel free to volunteer to make phone calls and text messages. It's an all hands on deck moment. We're going to leave it all on the field and sprint through the finish line. And I would love to have and earn your support and your vote for governor.